That's good.
And it hasn't manifested yet. I haven't had the baby yet. You help me with my pre-phase. You will be there while I push, and you be there to hold the baby after.
Front seat. I'm getting that baby out of there.
Yes.
You are coming out.
Right.
One of the things that I would just take away from when we talk, a lot of times people have these goals and they're like, oh, I want to do this. Oh, I'm doing that. And sometimes the goals are so far away from each other, you're not thinking about what it's going to take to really birth them. They have to touch. Because I know sometimes people don't like their food to touch. Like my macaroni ain't touching my greens, and my greens ain't touching my black eyed peas. Yeah. The wholeness of who you are is bigger than just one or two things that we think of at the time. So our what's next, we think about, oh, I'm just going to do this. Well, no, what's going to happen when you do this? It impacts the other things that it touch.
Yeah.
Which ultimately makes you a better you.
Step into the light, let the truth be known. God restores the years, his love is shown. Each moment, each story of life redefined. 225 moments.
Welcome to 225 Moments with me, Monique Nicole. This is a space for empowerment and encouragement where we're inspired by the Bible verse, Joel 2:25, where God says he will restore all of the years that the locust has eaten. Today's episode, we're going to have a nice little powerful chat with one of my good friends, Shamise Renee. And I'm going to let her introduce herself.
My name is Chamise Renee. I am a Jersey native. However, I reside in Atlanta, Georgia. Introduce myself. I am
a Jill of all trades.
My bio says I'm a Jill of most trades, right?
Yeah.
I am an actress, a model, a dancer. Wait, first of all, I am a woman of God.
Hey.
I am a mother of one. I am an actress, model, dancer, costume designer, and I am a pose coach.
Hey.
I teach etiquette in front of the camera. So that is who I am and a little bit of what I do.
Okay.
Yes.
Listen, everybody don't know that you're my super friend. So thank you, super friend, for joining me on this podcast today.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
And so people always ask me, like, what is a pose coach? Because they think that's kind of like stuff for bougie people. It's like, why would you need a pose coach?
Right.
I would just say, in short, I said this at your birthday party. I like all things that look good. I want my hair to look good. I want my wardrobe to look good. I want to look good at all times. And this is your person for the job. This is your girl. If you don't know Shamise, now she can't be your girl like my girl, but if you know Shamise know how to make sure that you look good. And so I'm grateful for that. She's my super friend. And so we just had a whole celebration, and at the celebration, I remember one of the girls said, "You are the dot. Like, you're the dot, you're the connection to everybody. Like, you know exactly who should be, oh, I know, I got something for you, you know? Yeah. So if you need something, that's who you call. You always call Shamise. Right. So I'm grateful that you came on the show today.
Thank you.
So I want people to know all about you. I want you to take it back. Take it back to when you started to get in front of the camera, because I believe that there's like a special power for someone who can sit in front of lights all the time. And this has been your journey, like, since you've been a little girl. And so I want you to start there. Tell us about how this all happened. Tell us about the stuff you've been in. Because I know you don't like to brag, but I'll brag on my friend. Okay.
Right.
So tell me some more. Tell the people.
Okay. Really quickly and briefly, I started at a very young age. I would say 3. I mean, I'm only 24 now. However, I started at a very young age. My mother noticed something in me. She said I couldn't keep still. It was always something, either dance or gymnastics or whatever. So she watered the seed.
Okay.
I had an agent at a very young age. I was a SAG baby. For those in the industry, you know what that is.
Interesting.
Right? It's the union for the industry for the most part.
Yeah.
And every Saturday, we started with dance.
Okay.
Every Saturday, tap, jazz, ballet at Broadway Dance Center. I was in class all Saturday.
Wow.
She saw an ad in the paper for an agent in Teaneck. Shirley Grant. I went in, she loved me, and she was my agent. So at the age of 3, I was in commercials and catalogs. At the time, it was catalogs.
Wow.
Right?
I remember you posted that.
Yeah, catalogs, all of the things.
She was such a cutie in the catalog.
Thank you. Then it was plays. I was introduced to theater. Broadway Dance Center trained you for Broadway. So it's dance, acting, and singing, voice as well. So
you can sing?
Kind of.
Why I didn't know that?
I can hold a note. If someone asks me, I was trained for Broadway. However, just certain things you nurture a little bit more.
Okay.
So that's what it is.
But we got it in us.
Oh yeah. We have it in us, but
you can bust
dance
it out.
is my thing.
Okay.
All facets of dance.
Okay.
Even point, your little chocolate ballerina, right? So it started young, and I never really stopped.
Yeah.
I did have a plan B though, which was dentistry, and I was in dentistry for well over 20 years.
Okay.
But the office that I worked at, it allowed me to continue my hobbies or passion or whatever.
Your passion,
you
right.
Call
Passion
it. Right.
work.
My passion.
Passion work.
My passion
Yes.
work, right? I eventually moved to Atlanta. Mm-hmm. It was mostly theater when I lived up in New Jersey because I was right by New York. So when I moved down to Atlanta, it was to kind of focus more in film.
Okay.
And then
let's back
that,
it up. Let's back it up. What about this move? Like, what made Atlanta be the place? Because I don't know how long that's been, but Atlanta kind of just got into this whole production. We're the new Hollywood scene, right? So that was early. So tell me, why Atlanta?
So it's been Atlanta for a few years. So before I actually moved down to Atlanta, I was going back and forth working for a full year.
Okay.
So I kind of knew what I was getting into. Like, okay, most of the castings are down in Atlanta.
Okay.
I need to relocate.
Okay.
My son was going to high school at the time. So it was perfect. Start a new school, freshman year, let's go.
Okay.
And that's kind of how the transition happened. I had a dental job when I first came here that lasted 2 months.
Mm-hmm. Well, let me ask you this. Was this around the time when, because, Tyler Perry kind of put the whole Hollywood scene in order. I'm not going to say like we didn't have other, stuff going on, but I think when Tyler Perry came, it was kind of like, woo, Atlanta is where it's at.
Oh, yeah.
But let me ask you this. Was it before Tyler Perry's plays? Because remember, he had plays for years, and it wasn't this whole production. It wasn't a studio, Tyler Perry Studios. It was just Tyler Perry down at the Fox or downtown, and you paid to go see it, and it was like, yo mama got a big house, what you gonna do? It was just real catchy phrases. Meet the Browns.
Yeah.
So was it before that era or after?
It was after.
Okay.
So I've only been living in Atlanta for, I believe it's eight years now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
8 years now. So it was definitely after that. I think he had just purchased the studio he's in now.
Okay.
And that's
there we go. So Hollywood was popping in Atlanta then. We was like, this is where you want to be. All right, well, good deal. Tell me about, was there ever a time that you felt like I'm supposed to be on camera and you second guessed that? Like, is it me? Do I really supposed to be doing this? Did you have any moments like that where you had to just really kind of dive in spiritually and ask God, is this where I'm supposed to be?
I've always known that I was supposed to be in front of the camera. When I did have to rethink a few things, petition the throne, was with being behind the camera.
Okay.
Right? Because when you have been trained up to be one thing, and then you get this amazing opportunity, which is still in the same field, but you're not in the front. Yeah. You're in the back, right? I'm like, is this really? People had to tell me that I was a costume designer, that I was a stylist, that I have the eye, and I'm like, really?
You do. Yeah.
Tam Hush Lee, she put a post out, like, we're shooting a movie in Atlanta, and I need not a costume designer, because she's the costume designer.
Okay.
I need a she just needed a costuming team.
Okay.
And so many people tagged me. And I'm like, why are they tagging me on this?
Yeah.
And sure enough, kind of like Pose with Poise, I didn't know that I was a pose coach or teaching people etiquette in front of the camera.
Just was a natural.
Someone had to tell me, and I'm like, God, you sure?
Yeah. Yeah. Listen,
And
that
here we
happens
are.
a lot.
Yeah.
I feel like that happens when you're on your path, right? Because a lot of times we want the path like, okay, tell us where we going. Tell us what time we going to get there.
Right.
What time should I be? What should I wear? You know, we want all the details.
Yeah.
But oftentimes when God has the plan for us, I believe that is a telltale sign as to when you're on your path. You're on your path when you just get on.
Right.
Now, when you get on, here you are, 5 steps. In those 5 steps, you're like, okay, you ready for some more? I got this for you.
Yeah.
I got this for you. I got that for you. And then those doors don't always mean that you superficial go in and try to open them yourself. These were people that was coming after you, telling you what they saw in you.
Right.
That's the way it works.
That part. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
I'll do it.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I knew I could do it. I have everything that I need. Costumes and alterations. Yeah. I learned how to sew back years
I
ago.
can sew too.
I know you can
I love
sew.
to sew.
Yes.
I love to sew.
Yes. Some
Sewing-
people don't know that about you.
I know.
That you know
You're
you
right.
be in the house like yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love to sew. Listen, sewing is like you create your own lane. Like
yeah.
you're not really looking at what get in the mirror, whatever you see. Oh, I know I can do this, this.
Well, maybe I could change this into this.
Yes,
Like, yeah.
yes. It's like manifesting. It's like that's what you see, but that ain't what I see.
Right. That's good, Mo. Yeah.
Yeah, that ain't what I see. Let me show you what I see.
What I can do with this.
And then you get into it, and then you make it your own, or I do a lot of remixes. Like I would buy like these old lady dresses, and they just look like, oh my God, like what?
Yeah.
And
Like,
then-
why you buy that?
Right. And then I take it home, and I'm like, up, doop, 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 and I
And
put it on.
this
And actually, one of my very first public project went viral like that.
Oh, I think you told.
Yeah.
Refresh my memory. I believe
It was, it's so crazy because that story, I had just quit my job at the time. I thought, you know what? Listen, when you're on the path,
Yeah.
some stuff may happen that will test your faith. And God wants to know how bad you want it. Like, do you really trust me? And that was a trusting moment for me. So I said to myself, it was a moment where I was put in a position where I need to either resign
Okay.
or it was going to put me in a bad predicament long term because the enemy was trying to set up something that wasn't the reality, right? It was
Gotta
trying
go.
to, right. And listen,
Gotta go.
my intuition, my spirit, when you get those spiritual moments,
Right.
it's time to move.
Right.
Right? Don't ask no questions. I think we be wanting, like I said, know all the details. No,
Right.
this is what you got to do. And in that moment, I trust God and I resigned from my job. And here I am. I had a boutique at the time,
Right.
co-owning with my best friend at the moment. And I would tell you, I just went full throttle, total entrepreneur. Let's do it. Let's get it.
Okay.
Went to the thrift store. And at the time I used to thrift a lot, probably too much. Okay. And so here I am thrifting and I see this old lady dress. It was, listen, back then, the fabrics on vintage clothing.
Different. That's why it's vintage.
Listen, the quality is crazy.
Yeah.
Like that's, it was
Real
just some
quality.
really amazing fabric.
Right.
And I just remember seeing this dress and I was like, it was 2 pieces actually. It came with a jacket and it was just a dress. And I saw something different. I said, you know what? I'm going to take this dress and I'm going to turn it into a nice fitted dress. And I added the real fancy First Lady bows that go up on
First
the neck.
Lady.
The First Lady bows on the neck. And put it together. And I did back then, the whole social media area wasn't all about a lot of videos. It was like, if you could just
What was it? MySpace?
No, it was
You
Facebook.
take a picture.
It was
Oh, okay.
Facebook. It was Facebook.
Okay.
And this was just a long time ago. And
Right.
so probably about 15 years.
Oh, okay.
Something like
Okay.
that. So here I am. I put side by side. Here's the grandma and here's what I did. and people
They went wild.
lost it.
Yep.
When I say they was like, oh my God, they was like, really? Like,
You
what
gotta
did
bring
you
them
do?
pictures back.
Right,
We need the receipts. Bring
It was
on
good.
back.
Listen, and I knew it had went viral when I was getting friend requests by the hundreds of requests a day.
Wow.
Like I would look online, it was like request. And I
serious?
was like, wait, like
Right.
this little dress, I ain't thinking nothing about it, but it was what I saw versus what everybody else saw.
Right.
So I was able to really remix that. And so I love to sew. I think that's a really good superpower for people to have, especially women. Like,
Oh, for sure.
oh yeah, like sewing. I'm actually putting that down as a goal. I'm going to exercise more this year.
I love that for you.
Yeah, because I want to work on my consumption.
Okay.
Yeah. I want to be able to say, you know what, you don't need that. Go home and make it. You can make that.
Okay. Yes.
So yes, I'm
with
working
it.
on that. So sewing is good. Okay, so from sewing, tell me a little bit more like the wardrobe, costume. Do you now sew pieces for the sets that you do, or do you go out and buy them, or do you remix them?
So a little bit of all of it.
Okay.
Right? Just depending on what it is. So currently I am working on some of the musical. I am the costume designer. I'm in it as well, but
Now how you get all that? Who producing it? Wait a minute. You in it and you working it?
Yeah.
How we doing it?
JP Haynes, she trusts me. Okay? She's like, you got it. You can do it.
I love JP.
So here we
I love
are.
JP. Yeah.
However, some things I have to revamp, alter,
Yeah.
shop.
Yeah.
Because it's a period piece.
Okay.
Right? So you're not necessarily going into stores now like, okay, that's perfect. Let's pull this, pull that, pull
Yeah.
that. No. So it takes a little elbow grease, you know. But if it's something that fits a certain character or a certain role and it isn't fitting them or whatever the case may be, then I'll do whatever alterations I need, whatever's going to help them to get the outfit on, get the outfit off behind the stage, then I do that as well. So, yeah.
So then how do you turn this into now it's time for me to be behind the lens? And like, what is that process? Because I can imagine, like, here I am trying to scramble, get everybody else looking good. Hey, you're like, okay, hold on, I got to go behind the scenes. It's me next. Like, who's being that to you?
So I do have assistants.
Okay, good.
Yes, I have a team.
Okay.
A very trustworthy team. You know, I don't always have a team with all of the projects,
Yeah.
but when I do, they're like my right hand, my right and left hand.
Yeah.
So it works.
It works. Okay.
It works.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was about to say, like, that's a whole lot of,
It is.
you know,
It is wearing many
transition.
hats.
Yeah.
It is, but
Where do you feel like, even in your journey, because someone who's always behind the camera, I couldn't imagine if I had to live my life like behind the camera 24/7. Like to do the little bit that I do, I'm like, wait a minute, is this perfect? Is this perfect? Like, have you ever had moments where you was like, this is not perfect, but because I'm perfect through God's favor and promises, this is good. Like, where do you have that moment where you say, you know what, I'm still good. God is still good.
Right.
Like, what is that?
You know what's crazy? I've grown to love it. I never thought I would be in this position, but clearly he had other plans for me. And it also depends on how the contracts land now, okay? Right? So ideally, I would prefer to be in front of the camera.
Okay.
However, being behind the camera and making sure that someone else looks their best, that I get fueled off of that as well, which is why I know that that's where I'm supposed to be as well.
Yeah. Do you ever look at like some of your work and be like, I did that?
Yes.
Like, do you have some moments where it's just like,
Yep.
I did that?
I can't even hold you. Yes. There is sometimes, or I don't think so. And then I watch the movie and I'm like,
This is amazing.
yep.
That was me.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about how pose with poise. People don't know about it. People don't think that some people may may think it's bougie because when I talk about you, they're like, you got a what? A pose coach? Why do you need that? Listen, if you've never had one, you need one, okay?
Yeah.
But I would just say, tell us about that journey. Like, tell us how you started with poise.
Okay.
And what that looked like. Like, how did the pivot happen? Because there is a lot of pivots. There's a lot of movement, transitions, but life is that way. So tell us about that.
Right. I was at an event. I was at my friend's event, and she had a step and repeat.
Okay.
She's pretty well known in the natural hair industry. Naturally, she's dope. For all of my kinky curly girls, my juices and berries. Naturally, she's dope.
Yeah.
She was having a huge event, and there was a mother and daughter in front of the step and repeat, just taking their pictures.
Yeah.
And I was like, hold on. I put my stuff down, and I went, and I just started fixing them. All right, posture, bring this up, da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
And her name is Mildred.
Okay.
The mother is Mildred.
Okay.
She looked at me as I'm fixing her feet. She's like, hey, you're really good at this. And I was like, really? And when I stood up, she was like, and you should be doing this for a living.
Yeah.
I was like, really?
Don't you like it when God call you out through people?
And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
A month later, I got a DM from her daughter. It was her mom's birthday.
Oh.
And she was like, I wanna hire you for a pose session for my mother. So I was her surprise birthday gift.
Nice.
That was my first Pose with Poise session.
Nice.
At the time, it wasn't even called Pose with Poise.
What did you call it? Come hang out with Shamise Renee, baby.
Right. Exactly. It wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
So that evening I got home and I'm like, all right, I think I'm going to do this. I'm going to make it a bit. I don't know what to call it though. Like, what is it? And my son was like, Mom, you're a pose coach. And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. I'm a pose coach.
Yeah.
And then I prayed and I asked God, I'm like, all right, so what do I call it? I have to LLC it. I have to go about it correctly, right? Sometimes people have amazing ideas, but they don't know the business aspect of it.
Right.
So you know me, Google.com, YouTube University, like, okay, I need an EIN. I'm going to make it an LLC. But because I do so much, maybe it needs to be umbrellaed, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
I did all of the logistics. And here we are, maybe 15 years later.
Yeah.
With Pose with Poise.
Yeah.
And as my clients come in different scenarios and different statuses, families versus individuals, different package. I used to call them packages, but now they are experiences. Right?
Yeah.
Because not only am I physically and verbally showing you how to pose in front of the camera, but it's video as well. It's not just still shots. It's your wardrobe, making sure you are all the way together, which of course incorporates my costume designing experience, right? Because now I can use it with Pose with Poise.
That's right.
It kind of all just, it's all a melting pot. Etiquette.
Yeah.
A lot of people it doesn't come natural to them. Etiquette. In front of the camera and for an interview, for walking down the street, for eating your food, going out to dinner, right?
Yeah.
There's just a certain type of poise, hence the name Pose with Poise.
Pose with Poise,
that you should always have. And it's not just females, but it's men as well, right?
Yeah.
But if you start as a child, because I teach etiquette to children as well, then they grow up and they have it instilled in them.
You know what's so crazy? I remember when I first used you and I said to myself, you know what a really good market would be for you would be the church. Like, how many first ladies want to look perfect?
Right.
Make me perfect. You know, I feel like Pose with Poise should say, make me perfect. Because that's kind of your touch. It's like, bring it up.
Right.
Shoulders back, chin down, you know. It's all the things. And I love that. I love that you are walking in your destiny, right? Tell me about when this experience happened. A lot of times we like to discredit the doulas. I feel like God gives us different doulas.
Yeah.
And then we think the doulas be like people that it's all in our business. You know what I mean? Like, we try to frame stuff. It's so amazing how life, when it happens, us as people are so used to being packaged. We're so used to the box. Okay. Like, yes, you got a mother, you got a father. This is what they taught you. This is the way it should be.
Right.
Then you teach your son, and it's like, this is the way it should be. But what about like this whole other, what God intended you to be? Like, did you have a moment where you just like discredit the doula, meaning the dream doula, someone who came in and birthed that right on you and said, you know what, you should be doing this for a living? Like, tell us about that experience, because I've too had it, and I'll tell you about mine, but I want you to tell us about yours. But I want to kind of, for you to share, when a doula speaks that and you're getting ready to birth something, a lot of times they don't always feel good. And two, put yourself in the shoes of when you first had your son, right? A lot of people could tell you about, oh, having a baby is like this, having a baby is like that.
Right.
And then when you had a baby, I mean, everybody's birthing experience is different. So you had a baby and it's like, whoa. Right. It's like, whoa. So the first part of the whoa is the whoa. This was a lot of pain. It was tough. I got it out. The second whoa is like, okay, the baby's here. There's a new world order. Right. So I want to talk about that process, because sometimes we make that look really easy.
Yeah.
What is that? Like, what was that like for you?
Okay, so
the woes.
Yeah, wait,
the double woes.
Hold on. Let's rewind a little bit. Do you know, when I had my son, my friend was like, "Oh, it doesn't hurt."
I don't know what kind of hurt she's talking about. Listen, it hurts a lot.
It hurts a lot.
Yes.
And sometimes life hurts.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But to answer your question, never have I discredited the doula. And I think God, when God, who God uses as the doula, he knows how to tell them, he knows how to make them tell me, so that it's like a trigger to me, like, okay. Or it's something that he's already revealed to me, and it just comes as confirmation.
Those are the best ones. I'm telling you.
He know how to deal with me.
Yeah. That's good.
And how to approach me, and how to, like, all of the things. He knows.
Yeah.
So never have I ever discredited the doula. Now, going into the new thing, maybe a little apprehension, like, okay, well, how am I supposed to do this? Whatever. But it just downloads. And that's how I know that it's coming from him.
Yeah. And
I always make sure that I circle back. Okay. Right? I hear often, publicly and privately.
Okay.
Right? I with my doulas or anyone that pours into me in any way, shape, or form, publicly and privately, I tell the people, because it's a part of my testimony.
Oh, that's good.
Right? So my doulas don't get discredited. They don't. Not on my end.
You know, the point of public and private, that was really good, because most of the time people love to privately praise you. You know, like, but that's not the kind of God we serve.
Right.
Like, God does things in our lives definitely for us to walk out our purpose that we have here on earth.
Yes.
But for him to get the glory. But you'll be surprised at the people that want to hold his glory.
Right.
But they still want the glory cloud. How is that?
Yeah.
Like, how do you want the glory, but
clouds move.
You want to hold the glory?
You got to be careful. Clouds move.
They do move. And when those clouds move, you got to say to yourself, Lord, is it me?
Right.
Am I the problem? Right? I'm asking for these things, and when it doesn't happen, is it me? Say to yourself that. Like, was I the problem? So to hear you say, I've never had a problem with a doula. And when God does that, I'm open, I'm listening. That's a special gift. I really do. I feel like that. I feel like that's a person who has totally tapped in, tuned in, tapped in to God's favor, God's purpose, his plan. Right. Because, you know, I feel like that walk gets stronger the moment you stay on it. So you gotta feel God's presence to know that it's not worth me not listening.
For sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, lady said, you should be doing this for a living. You could have easily said, no, I'm going to do what I want to do for a living.
Right. Yeah.
I'm going to do what I said I was going to do for a living.
Yeah.
But she put that seed there, and it birthed out Pose with Poise.
It really did.
And listen, I love your talent. And I say all the time, like, give it to me because I need to look good.
Yeah.
You hear me? So I'm super, super excited that you're able to share that because you'll be surprised at how stuff is birthed.
Right.
The manifestation circle, me as a manifestation coach, we birthed the same way. Like, I didn't know I was going to do all that.
Right.
If you ask me.
And if someone would have told you, probably would have been like, who, me?
Listen, I was a glory in the closet. Not necessarily. I was definitely tell about God's glory in my life.
Right.
I had no problems doing that.
Okay.
The problem I had was, how am I supposed to teach this?
I'm sure he gave you the download.
Now, listen, at first it was tough. Like,
Yeah.
I fought it. Like I was finna fight. Like I was in the street. Let's go.
Yeah.
I ain't doing that.
Like, nope, not me.
Nah. Exactly.
Right.
And so I was always having moments where I would meet women and I would just encourage them. And when I would encourage them, I would turn around and just, kind of give them some stuff to do. That was just my first language. Like,
right.
And I always had this thing where I would meet women and they would just tell me a lot of stuff going on in life. Like, hey, I feel like this. I guess because I could feel them.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. Like, here I am. I'm looking at you. I'm like, I can feel something
you
going
know your
on.
superpower.
Right.
You know your
Something
superpower. You
going
like,
on.
come here, sit right here.
Right. And
what's
so,
going on?
So here I am. And in a moment, I was talking to a lady. And this happened in Houston many years ago. I was talking to a lady and I said, I was just giving her hope. It was a super empowerment message. And I remember in the end, I kind of told her, this is what you need to do.
Right.
And another lady that was standing beside me at the time, she said, you should teach this. What do you mean? Teach what?
Right.
Like, I kept trying to figure out, like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Like I'm just
being me.
I'm just being me. And I'm operating in the glory that feels natural for me.
Right.
To give people empowerment to live out their best lives. And it kind of reminds me of something I say to people all the time. You want to live your best life, right?
Right.
But it requires you to be your best self. And that takes work.
That's good.
That takes work.
Yeah, it does.
And so here I am, and I'm just sitting there, and I'm like, I fought it. I was like, nope, nah.
Now look at you.
Right. And so months later, I found this tugging. It was like God was just saying,
Right.
And so here I am, just minding my business, and that little nugget, that little seed, as a doula, she was my doula.
Yeah.
That it stayed with me. It was like, you know what? You pregnant no matter what you say. Right? I was like,
and you gonna give birth to that thing.
Right. And it was time for me to birth it. I had been carrying this, giving it out, but I felt like those 9 months was up. Like, here she is. She's the doula.
Right.
You should teach this. So I still didn't know what I was doing. I was thinking to myself,
the approach.
This is God's power, I feel, and I have a relationship with him. And I stopped and I said, okay, God, if I was to teach this, one thing I don't want. I had to talk to him, like, get real.
Yeah, because he gonna keep it funky with you too.
I had to keep it real 100 with him.
Yeah.
And I said, if I teach this, I don't want to carry people's stuff.
Ooh.
Like,
That's
how many
good.
times do people, they come to you, they download what's going on, and now you carrying the load. You carrying something that don't even belong to you.
And don't even know it.
And don't even
Until
know
you
it.
like, ooh, wow, I feel like that.
Right. So I kept saying, I don't want to carry people's stuff. I said, God, I just want to be the person that pushes people to go forth and know that the power is within them through you. But I don't want to be the person that's carrying this big brick of problems and issues. Like, how is that? And I promise you, I felt in that moment that God just laughed at me. I felt that. I was like,
Probably did.
Like, here I am spilling my heart out.
Right. And you laughing at me.
And you laughing. I felt like the point of me saying that was, it was like, but you control that.
Oh.
You control what people put on your load.
And what you carry.
Right.
Come on.
And I was like, yes. I said, you know what? You're right. So that is one of the things that I push. Listen, I can give you the tools.
Yeah.
But I cannot go and fix and to do the work. I can't do your work.
Right.
You can't drop your body off at the gym and say, I'll come back at 5 and I'll have those abs that I want.
We need to find somebody that can do that. Because that might be on, you might be on to something with that.
No, you can't. You can't drop your body off, and you can't download on people and expect them to do the work. And then I would tell you too, people get mad at you when they download and you don't have the reaction, or you can do the work for them. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
You got to do your own work.
Right.
I can push you. I can give you the tools, but you have got to do the work.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that when I started this, so I'm saying that to say, when you have this doula, you're going to have moments like, wait, what?
Right.
Yours was the opposite. You was like, okay. For me, I was like, nah, Playboy.
Right.
I wanted to have this long gangster talk with God to say, Lord, I know you didn't say that to me.
Right.
And also, too, it was rooted in me being from the church. Like, I live, breathe, and listen, we ate peanut butter and jelly sandwiches in the church.
Yeah.
I'm talking about under the bitch doing homework, all the things, you know.
Sun up to sundown on a Sunday.
Exactly.
Yep.
Lock-ins,
you
know.
Yeah.
And so I say that to say, in the midst of me doing and being in the church, I just had so many recaps mentally of what it was like for people to get caught up in church, to get caught up in a routine. And what happens is they get so caught up in this routine that they never do the work. They just want to do the routine. I'm going to do the routine, but I ain't going to do the work. But see, when you do the routine, you show up like you did the work and you haven't. And then they wonder why things have not changed. So that's what I asked. Like, tell me, listen, you're a chosen one. Because in the midst of me fighting, when I said yes, God has opened so many doors for me. I couldn't imagine myself not doing this now. Can you imagine that?
No.
Like, I fought it.
No.
And then I'm like, what else would I be doing? Like,
this is you. You are this.
Yes. And I've seen so many amazing stories. Like, to see the women lives really change and them forget to get in and really do the work. I mean, the environment shift. I've seen people that's in a certain rut, and once they become a part of this community, they get to witness other women who are vulnerable to say, that happened to me.
Yeah.
And it's okay. You can do the work and you can get out of that.
Right.
And so for me to go from fighting the doula, right? Like, nah, I ain't doing that. To being the doula to many women now.
Yeah.
Wow.
Pretty much.
I'm the doula now. It's
so
like,
speaking of.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So the public and privately, that is not my saying. It's JP saying.
Okay.
She says it all the time.
JP says that.
That's her saying.
Publicly and privately.
Publicly and privately.
I love that.
That's why I said I hear it all the time.
Yeah.
Because she says it all the time.
Yeah.
Right? So this is privately.
Yeah.
Me thanking you for being my doula.
Oh.
Yeah.
You was my doula too.
Really?
So, yeah.
That's nice.
That's funny because look at that energy, right?
Right.
Here I am, I'm doing doula things, not knowing that I've been a doula to you, because this is my first time hearing you say that. But what you haven't heard me say is you've been my doula too. Wow. Right? It's that good energy. And that's why you need people around you to know how to arrest you. Know how to pull you out of things. And listen,
or push you into things.
Push you into things.
We was definitely at lunch. And I said, God said.
Yes. What'd you say?
It's time for you to go live.
Yes.
You've been doing this for so long.
Tell them what live is, because they don't know what that means.
This is live.
Yes.
Right? We've been hearing your voice for so long.
Yes.
Those who are in your manifestation circle, you've been pouring into them for so long.
Yes, for years.
It is time for you to go live.
Yeah.
And here we are, 3 months, 4 months after that conversation.
Yeah.
She is live.
And I said to myself then, I said, I know. Now, I was
you did say that.
I had
you was like, this is confirmation.
Right. I didn't fight the doula that time. I said, I know.
Yeah.
I know that I'm supposed to do that. Now, the part that I didn't know was all of the things. How to connect the dots. Well, thank God that you was my doula and you was my dot connector. Just like they said at your party, because it's true. Like, you know how to put it together. So you took all of that anxiety away. You took all of the, how is this going to work? And should I fear? And what should I do? It was good. And I thank you, friend.
I thank you too.
I'm here. Oh. I can't believe it.
Yes, you deserve it.
So I would say that you were my doula to this podcast publicly, because like you said, I have been doing it privately for years. There go that JP public and private. Yeah, there it is again. It's us. And then so we then get to when you said that I was your doula. And I didn't know that. So tell me what you mean. What you mean, friend?
I mean, which time, right? At this point, how many kids I got? No. Yes. I'll speak about the most recent.
Yeah.
What's next?
Yeah.
You gave me the blueprint on my what's next.
Yeah.
On my expansion, my growth, all of the things.
Yeah.
They all have to tie in.
Yeah, they have to
homework.
touch.
I have homework because what was this? 2 days ago?
Yeah.
We had our conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got homework tomorrow.
Yeah.
My down day, my downtime day. I have homework because I need to set the steps. Manifest in my head. What do I see? What do I feel?
Yeah.
What should it feel like? What should it look like?
That's good.
Who am I, pathing and things like that. So
yeah.
That's
good.
And it hasn't manifested yet. I haven't had the baby yet.
It's coming.
But
it's coming.
You are in my you helped me with my pre-phase. You will be there while I push.
Front
and you
seat,
be there
baby.
to hold the baby after.
Front seat.
That's
I'm getting that baby out of there.
Yes.
You are coming out.
Right. Yes.
Listen,
thank you.
one of the things that I would just take away from when we talk is that a lot of times people have these goals and they're like, oh, I want to do this. Oh, I'm doing that. Oh, I'm doing that. Right. And sometimes the goals are so far away from each other that you're not thinking about what it's going to take to really birth them.
Yeah.
Right. So they have to touch, because I know sometimes people don't like their food to touch. Like my macaroni ain't touching my greens and my greens ain't touching my black eyed peas.
Yeah.
But in hindsight, spiritually, it's gotta touch. Why does it have to touch? Is because your impact is whole. Although we put it in separate goal buckets, but the wholeness of who you are is one. Right?
Yeah.
And so because you are one, you can't say, oh, this is this way and then this is far over here. Okay, well, how they're going to connect? Because whatever you do over here, got to sprinkle over here and make them connect. So I'm glad that you received that, because the wholeness of who you are is bigger than just one or two things that we think of at the time. So our what's next, we think about, oh, I'm just going to do this. Well, no, what's going to happen when you do this? It impacts the other things that it touch.
Yeah.
Which ultimately makes you a better you.
Overall.
Right? And then the overall you just goes up more and more notches. Right? So it never stops. Remember I told you, and I don't want to just say all things, but I'm gonna put your business out there.
Okay.
But one of the things I remember you saying is and I feel like a lot of people feel this way. People feel like, here's the goals. And this is, if I get this, I'll be good. Did you say that? You said, I do this, I'll be good, right?
I did.
A lot of people feel like that. They feel like, all I need is this, and I'm good.
Right.
Well, it doesn't stop, friend. You can't just say I'm good. Why it doesn't stop is because the wholeness of who you are, it continues to rise.
Yeah.
It's not I'm good. You think God gonna just cap you out?
Nah,
He not gonna cap you out.
He not gonna cap me out.
So it continued to rise. And so when I said that to you, I said, okay, I'll let you get it out.
You did.
And I said, I hear you, but it doesn't stop there.
Right.
Like, then you got to go to what's the betterness of you. And the other thing I said to you was, you don't have to have it all figured out now. Remember I said that?
You did.
Stay with the connection of them touching. Whatever it is touching for the betterment of you, right?
Right.
And in that connection, you just go forth with what you have. And as you do that, God will show you something else.
Word.
Then he'll show you something else. Then he'll show you something else. And it just gets better.
Yeah.
It gets better. Like the whole idea, the whole you. And that's how you know that you're on the right path. People often say, like, am I on the right path? Am I doing the right thing?
Right.
If you're not getting better, you're
Probably
absolutely not on the right
Probably
path.
not, sis.
You're probably not. It's
Yeah.
two things that can happen. Either you're not on the right path or
Right.
you're not listening. You're not listening. A lot of people know how to tell you, I can pray to God.
Right.
But not many people can listen.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother animal.
Yeah, because you just don't know what he gonna say back.
Right. And on top of that, are you quiet and are you still enough?
Yeah.
I've seen people be so busy and so all over the place, and they want God to chase them all around and give them blessings when they can't even be still and listen.
Right. And
How?
Too busy running around, and he might be calling you to be still.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Because he already worked it out.
And being still is okay. Be still with the purpose. Not be still because you being still. Idle stillness
That's good. Yeah.
is not good for you.
Right.
But
Right.
when you're still in your purpose, right? Meaning that you're tuned in, tapped in, and you know right now you're supposed to be still.
Right.
What I believe in that moment is that God is refueling you, right? And in that refuel, you're existing in your purpose. So you should have enough purpose path that when you sit still, that your existing feels good. It feels like you're on cruise control, waiting to get fueled again.
Yeah.
And that's totally okay.
Waiting for the go.
Waiting for the go.
Yeah.
And it's totally okay.
Right.
I would rather you be in a place where you're paused with purpose than you being a road runner all over the place.
Yeah.
Just
You ain't tired for no reason.
Right.
You could be home chilling.
listen, those are people that is so busy doing everything that they can't be
Busy doing
busy
nothing.
about their own purpose. You look at them, the purpose work isn't there. They have no idea. They have confused busyness with purpose. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
You know? So that's good. I feel like recognizing the doula. We got two different experiences, but now my experience is good. I'm all in.
Yeah.
And now I could be a doula to other people.
Right.
And now you get to attract other doulas. Right?
Yeah.
You'll know. You'll
Yeah.
know when you have people that's in your life to do just that. Listen, I just want to thank you for coming on today.
Thank you.
Because I believe that the restoration moment for today is about the doula. It's about who you are in the moment when the doula comes and calls you out or pushes you
Yeah.
to get that baby out. Let's just say that. Push you to
Push.
get the baby out. Are you going to push?
Yeah.
When the doula comes, are you going to resist? I know that too well.
Yeah.
And you say, wait, I don't want this baby right now.
Right. So he's like, I'm not ready.
This baby got to be adopted.
And
Okay.
you coming now.
Are you coming now? So
Right.
this is good. And I would just charge each and every one of you at 2:25 of the day. Put a reminder to yourself for God to restore everything that you need at that moment. And it might just be a doula. You'll be surprised. We all need doulas,
Yeah,
right?
we all need a doula.
And doulas are good.
Yeah.
And when you just really surrender and get on that path, amazing things will happen for you. So I thank you so much for listening to 225 Moments with M.Nicole and Chamise Renee. Chamise, tell people how to find you.
All platforms. It is Shamise
Every
Renee,
day.
and that's CHAMISE RENEE, or Pose with Poise.
There you go.
And that is POSE with POISE. Yeah.
Yes. So thank you again. You know where to find us on all streaming platforms for your podcast needs. That is going to be YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeart, wherever you listen, we're there. Look up 225 Moments M.Nicole. Or you can always go to www.m-nicole.com. Thank you so much for watching. I enjoyed this, and I hope that you find your doula or doulas that can help birth you to the next level. Have an awesome day. Thank you for watching.
Thank